Hello, welcome to Your Voice, Your Call. I'm your host, Christopher Moore, and tonight I have a special co-host, Bob Kern. We are talking in our second episode of a four-part series about political upheaval in a new segment I like to call Political Indiana. So join us, check it out, and I really hope you enjoy it. And afterwards, comment, share, and let your friends know all about us. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy. Hi, welcome to Your Voice, Your Call. I'm your host, Christopher Moore, and today I have a special guest, Bob Kern.
Welcome.
How you doing today, Bob?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad you came on.
Thank you.
Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Bob Kern. I am from Indianapolis. I was born and raised in the heartland city of Indianapolis in the state of Indiana. I've been here for 55 years. I've gone to Holy Cross. From Holy Cross, I went to my education from Holy Cross to public schools, and then I graduated from Arsenal Technical High School and went on to IU Law School.
Tech Titans.
Tech Titans.
So what got you into politics a little bit there?
Well, I started politics at a young age. We had a thing called, you're familiar with the Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
We had a program called Push for Excellence.
Okay.
And basically Push for Excellence was to stop the dropout rate for kids that were dropping out of school. So I started out as a senator in my school in the 7th and 8th grade.
Cool.
And went on from there and became the Push president in high school.
Of this chapter or this area?
Of this area.
Nice.
Of Indianapolis.
Nice.
I was the president. And went on from there, and I worked in a place called, I worked as an assistant to Providence Benedict and Audrey Rochelle, who worked in a government program called Green Carpet, because I was the president of Push for Excellence, trying to stop the dropout rate.
Mm-hmm.
And Providence was actually the Democratic state chair at the time, and I had not a clue, but found out when I was there. And she, basically was my first mentor when it became, in politics.
Nice.
Very bright lady. So I started my way down the political arena, learning, things I didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
what, was not taught in school. And I already knew, what the branches of government and all that
Right.
was, and how everything worked. But I didn't really know what the difference between the Democrats and Republicans were. And during that time, Democrats were a little bit different than what they are today.
Sure they are.
And so it was a learning experience. And so in 96, before 96, I was helping my aunt run for office.
Mm-hmm.
And her name is Mary Catherine Barton. And Mary Catherine Barton started working with Ross Perot here in Indiana because she was more independent. She left the Democratic Party and became independent. And so she worked with him and Dr. Fulani. Now, Dr.
Wow.
Fulani was the first African American woman to run for president of the United States and actually get on the ballot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was really awesome. So that's what I did here in Indiana. I worked on Mary's campaign. She ran for judge We got her on and we won each time. We won the primaries for her. She led the ticket.
Nice.
And the first time that she won was when she ran for judgeship, and then she ran again for city council. But every time we made sure when she hit that ballot, she led the ticket. And I finally, the last race that we worked together, she won. She won the county surveyor.
Oh,
So
cool.
I'm pretty proud that, I helped prevail to win the county surveyor. And she was not a puppet on a string. So she, of course, only got to serve for 4 years because Ed Tracy at the time, who was the Democratic chair, didn't want her.
Oh, okay. So it's been so you've been exposed to politics for quite some time then.
Yes.
Okay. Well, as some people know, 2 Fridays ago we started our 4-part series on political nonsense, we'll say, or however you want to word it, from national down to some of the local.
Right.
This is part 2 on the podcast, and we were touching on the impeachment of our president, Trump, there, and we touched on how that's affecting America. Is it a smokescreen to something else that's going on? Or is it just, obviously we agree, I think it's a waste of money, waste of our time, a waste of the country's time, no matter how you feel about Trump in person. But he is trying to do the country better, I think. He has stepped forward to do something that most won't do. And I just think the last 3.5 years has been kind of nonsense. What's your take on it?
Well, we have to ask ourselves, where were we then and how are we now? Okay? How were we 20 or 10, 20, 30, 50 years ago to how we are today? And if you ask a lot of people, they're like, I have more money in my pocket.
I know I do.
And when you have more money in your pocket, that means you have more money to go out and spend and patronize these businesses. And I am a big encourager of spending your money locally on small business.
Support small businesses in your communities.
Exactly. And so this president, Donald Trump, offers that.
Yes.
Really not really offers. He
I would say offers.
he encourages it.
Okay, better word.
He encourages small business. Even though, because he started, a lot of people are thinking, yeah, it's a lot of money. Well, he started with $1 million. Okay?
Even if it was through the family, but
It was through the family. He started with, but that $1 million that he got could have gone just peed away. He could have
wasted it.
He could have wasted it, like most people do. But he chose to invest. And when he chose to invest, you're not promised, everything's going to work.
Right. But
So he got blessed, and he bestows his blessings because he didn't have to run for president.
No.
That's what people got to understand. This man didn't owe us nothing. He didn't have to run for president. He refused to accept a paycheck.
That's right.
From us. In fact, he doesn't take that paycheck.
He donates
In fact,
it.
what he does is he donates that check.
Yep.
I don't really know where he donates it, but he donates it. Everyone wants to blame him on the, because of the birth certificate movement of Donald Trump being accused of saying that Obama was illegitimate. It started in the Democratic primary.
Well, and actually, I think even before Obama, if you really think about it, there's always something that each president does pick up what a previous president has had to deal with, good or bad, and so there's a trickle down through the presidents. And so now that President Trump has picked that up, and he's trying to turn things around a little bit where, like you said, we have more money in our pocket. The economy is stronger. The Dow closes at a better rate than it has in 50 years. Mm-hmm. Unemployment rate is the lowest it's been in 50 years. I think that's a pretty awesome achievement.
Yeah, but when Donald Trump first came on the scene,
mm-hmm.
I mean, people were like, man, this guy needs to be our president.
Oh, they loved him.
And, you know, he wasn't even thinking about that, you know?
Yeah, he was on Oprah and talked about it.
You know, he was like, you know, he just, you know, he laughed it off. And even Oprah was for him to run for president, you know?
So he runs
and
becomes president.
He becomes president of the United States. I mean, you know, he had a show, The Apprentice, and people loved him on The Apprentice. Mm-hmm. And they wanted him, was like, wow, we want him as president. So he decides to somebody put his name out there. He didn't do it himself. In fact, somebody else did it for him. And ran him as president. And who would ever thought that this man would run and win? And he actually won.
Yeah.
And another thing is that, about this president that's so different about any other president is that he's approachable.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's very approachable. You wouldn't think he would be approachable, but he lets his security team know, no, let him come forward. Let him, let him touch me. Let him get to know me.
You see him interact with people
exactly.
all the time. Even the troops, even in small towns, he does interact with people. And
he's getting a bad rep from the media.
They're not showing, how I look at it, hate or love them, the media is only showing their bias against the bad of whatever it was in his past. Now, I didn't vote for him, and most Americans that voted for him didn't vote because of what he had done. They voted because what he was saying, I'm going to do. And he's been achieving those goals. Now with that, given, let's say that's on a national level, and we know how the country is divided, do you think there's a Trump effect? In other words, that's trickled down to your local politics, like mayor or we'll say mayor, for example, we'll use that, like our local race, that affects people to vote for their local mayors, whether it's Democrat or Republican? Do you think the way people feel about Trump has affected that?
I think that it affects the party's affiliation of who they vote for. As far as statewide, when Trump came on the scene and he ran, what I really think what got Trump the win throughout the United States was him going on Twitter, with him tweeting and actually talking to people one-on-one when he couldn't interact with them in person. And I think that his interaction caused a cluster which affected all states in the Republican Party. And that even told some Democrats we're not on the right team. And Donald Trump had been Democrat prior to all this.
Yep.
And so he brought the Democrats to the table. You know what I'm saying? He reached across the table and you know, he's never mixed words. He's always been who he is. And he doesn't try to sugarcoat anything. No. And I think that's what people like. And I think that's why Republicans, Democrats, people, independents or whatever, come out in hundreds and thousands of numbers of people come out to vote for this man because of that.
Or go to the rallies.
Yeah, because he knows how to pack. He packs a stadium where Hillary Clinton or somebody else would have to get on the phone. Hey, we'll pay you $100.
Yeah, to show up.
Can you show up?
Yeah.
You know, he don't have to pay nobody.
No.
And he's got lines, and there's people still out there waiting to get in. You know, he's got like maybe 50,000 people, 100,000 people in a stadium or whatever it will hold.
There's still lines outside.
And there's still lines of people wanting to get in.
And the media won't show that a lot of times.
No.
You have to find it through...
You have to go to Fox News to watch it.
Yeah, or find it through people who are there taking photos and videos. So, and what's interesting, I'm glad you brought it up, that he was Democrat all these years prior.
Yes.
And And that's kind of irony there that, okay, I was Democrat, I ran Republican and won, and I'm helping the country, and yet it's the Democrats, and not all Democrats are bad. We're not saying that, right? We're not saying that,
exactly.
Neither are Republicans, but up there, the Democrats, trying to impeach him, he was a Democrat. And he's not doing it for the letter RRD, he's doing it for the people. And so we have 3.5 years of these, I'm going to say morons, correct me if I'm wrong on that, morons coming in and trying to impeach him over nothing. And it's just kind of funny to me. And so I don't know how many people out there knew that he was Democrat. I don't think very many, few I'm sure. But I'm glad you brought it up because most people don't know that. And I think that's very significant to think about. He was once Democrat. He doesn't look at himself as a D or an R. He ran on the Republican ticket. He ran against Hillary. There was reasons. We saw what happened during that race. We don't have to keep rehashing it. Everybody knows. But my next question to you is, with this impeachment going on, do you think it's a cover-up for something else? Like a smokescreen?
Yeah, I actually do. I'm thinking, here's what I was thinking, that this is a smokescreen to tear down the Constitution of the United States and to rebuild with Sharia law.
What they want, yeah. I think you're in the ballpark.
And if some people don't know what Sharia law is, we don't want Sharia law in the United States, unless you wanted to be beheaded for your beliefs in God, for your beliefs of being who you are. Mm-hmm. So if you're LGBTQ, look forward to getting your head cut off with Sharia law.
Yep. And they left their country because of that stuff.
Exactly.
To come to a country the land is free. And in ways it's not quite free, because we'll touch on something here in that minute. And then they're slowly trying to integrate that law into our country. To me, that don't make sense. Why would you leave that and then try to start it up over here? I mean, I'm all for anybody's beliefs, whatever you want to believe. But you're right. If you're trying to destroy the Constitution that helped build the country, there's something wrong. Something very wrong.
And I find it very ironic that when they were doing this impeachment, that they wanted a closed door impeachment.
Yes.
And to me, that tells me, as a citizen of the United States, which I am a citizen of the United States, and other citizens are probably pretty ticked off about it, that they didn't get to hear this hearing. And in fact, we should have demanded to know what is being said, what is being done.
Yeah.
And it was only up to one person to make that really got to read these documents.
Yeah.
The one that brought it forward is the one that got to read it.
Yeah, she's...
And it wasn't anybody else. And then it's like she didn't even want to have the impeachment. She wanted to delay it even longer.
And now that they got their vote on the House side to impeach, now it's gone up to the Senate, and they are delaying because they know the Senate is not going to approve it. Only 9 of the Republicans are for it. That leaves 44 against it.
So they want to wait, basically. Here's what they want to do. What they want to do is they want to wait it out until after Donald Trump is reelected.
And waste another 3.5 years.
And waste another 3.5 years trumping on him,
yep.
when nothing will get done. And while that is going on, and you know what? This is actually put in I think part of this is in the Bible as well, of what we're talking about. And what they're going to do is they're going to be terrorizing. What they're doing is terrorism on our country and on the Constitution of the United States. And in my opinion, and this is my opinion, to me, this is treason.
It is treason. I have to agree. It's treason.
Even though some people will say, that's not what treason is. Well, to me, anything that goes against my country and my beliefs and that attacks the Constitution of the United States, or the president who is duly elected by the people of this country, is treason.
It is. It is. And you can look up the definition of treason. It fits. You're trying to destroy the country from within. And when you should be working together to build the country. And that's how I think most Americans are feeling, because you're seeing more and more people, whether they're dear, are backing him and supporting him, because they're seeing, man, this is nonsense. Yeah, there's still some that support it and want to see him impeached, but that's the other thing. Just because you're impeached does not mean you're removed.
Right.
And people aren't understanding that. Oh, why didn't he out of office yet? Well, it's because you have a process. You have the Senate, and they're going to stop it. We've had 3 presidents in history that's been under impeachment. Nixon resigned before it went anywhere. Clinton was impeached but never removed.
Right.
And Trump's been impeached and he's not going to be removed. In fact, I think this is going to boost his next win.
Right. And basically what, going back, what the question was initially, also, what I think is basically what's going to happen is they don't want him to get impeached, or not impeached, but removed immediately. They want to wait until after the 2020 election because they're hoping that they're going to have more people in the Senate to remove him as president of the United States.
It won't happen before 2020.
And I don't think it's going to happen at all.
No, they've got some of their seats aren't even up yet. Just like locally, our senators in Indiana's House, some of them are this year, 2020, but some of them aren't for another 3 years. You know? So, which I think is kind of odd, but that's kind of how that works.
Yeah, every 6 years.
Yeah, so when you look at that, it should be the same year. I mean, that way you can have a new rotation of people come in or keep the same ones doing the job. But I also believe in term limits. I think in all levels, from national down, we should have maybe 8 years max in term limits.
Now, we've only had one candidate that I know of. And I don't know about other states, but as far as in the state of Indiana, we've only had one candidate that has signed and agreed to term limits and kept his promise. And that's a Republican. And he was a sitting senator. And I think before that he was I'm trying to think of his name. I know his name, I cannot think of it, I can't recall it. But he was just this, he also was in the executive office of the President of the United States.
So if we have one, we should have others.
Yeah, but they, some say, well, my term limits is when people stop voting for me. And I'm like,
30 plus years is too long if you're not doing anything in office to make a difference for the country. I'm sorry, voting for you, nah.
I mean, they're making millions of dollars off taxpayers.
And that's not right. And that's the other thing, when it's always been said, you can't be a rich politician.
Right.
Unless you're doing book deals or stuff like
that.
that.
I mean, look at Nancy Pelosi, she don't have a problem with anything, with terrorism or whatever it is, because she lives in a gated community. She has a gate, she's a millionaire. She's a multi-millionaire. Yeah. She's not just a millionaire. She's a multi-millionaire.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're hitting the nail on the head with these. And it also comes down to local. When you look at, like, the Trump effect to a degree, but then you also look at, let's separate that from a local politics and history and what's happening. We have a lot of similarities happening here, locally. And then if you watch, which the news hasn't been covering, but you can see it and it's on all over in those articles, Virginia is getting ready to, I would call, they're fighting against their own state's laws that they just passed some ridiculous, retarded laws. You can't own guns, can't own hunting knives, bows. They're starting to kill their freedom there. Your freedom to do what you want, as a citizen. And so that also brings in the law that they added this 21 to buy cigarettes.
Wow.
If you're 18 and you can be married, fight for our country, you have the right to do what you want, why do you have to be 21 to buy cigarettes?
That is a stupid law. This happened, I was talking to a gentleman at my church who is a war vet, who's a veteran. And he said back in his time that the alcohol was the issue. And it didn't last very long. And he sees this not lasting as long as it did with the alcohol.
What do you think? Do you think it'll be repealed?
I think we need to recall the law. I think that this law needs to be recalled. I think that we need to... I need somebody to represent me to sue the federal government because I think this is a constitutional... something that's constitutional, because this has to do with your body. Now, if a woman can, and it's been upheld in federal court, if a woman can have an abortion and she can freely do whatever she wants with her body, then why can't I, as a man or a person of 18 years old, do with what he or she wants to do with her body by smoking?
It's
or smoking, by with the e-cigarette or even vaping.
Right.
Why? And why can't we even smoke marijuana? What's wrong with legalizing marijuana?
I think if we did, especially in the state of Indiana, it's like our neighboring states. We're the redhead stepchild. If we really look back and legalize it, which Bill Levine, who you know very well, he's running for governor, is supportive of that, because if you really think about it, if you legalize it, we could literally eliminate our debts. The country even. We could, the money that you can revenue off of that could help everything from homelessness to you name it. We could even have better health care. We could do a lot more. And honestly, marijuana is a God-given medicine on this earth. I mean, all plants can be used for good or bad, but that, if you really read up and you really pay attention to what marijuana does, it's not a gateway drug. It helps people like women if they're having their monthly time. It helps with cramps and pain, helps with headaches, helps with glaucoma, it helps with all kinds of health things that pharmaceutical companies want you to keep having, so they're making money off of you.
Right.
You're not a cure. You're a patient. You're a bank to them.
Right. And there was a documentary on this morning that I was watching about marijuana, and basically it didn't start in China, but I believe that's the basis of where it started, where they were using it for medical purposes over thousands and thousands of years.
Thousands of years ago.
This has been used as a medical drug to prevent and to help with things that we're dealing with today that we no longer use marijuana for.
Yeah.
And you see a lot more people dying in pain because our government thinks it's evil. And
evil,
and
Dr. Evil,
and that it's a war on marijuana, and it's just a war on marijuana and a war on drugs. Well, drugs are things that are created by man, such as meth, such as other things.
That are harmful, that can kill you and hurt you.
And marijuana was created by our Creator and put on this earth for a reason. I don't know what the reason is, but I see that from what it's led us, or what it's done, and what it has been doing, and some countries use it.
I see it do more good than harm.
Exactly.
I actually don't see any harm. I mean, if you're spending all your money and not paying your bills, maybe.
How many people do you know that smoke marijuana, that go out and drive a car, that have been in an accident because
they're fine, right?
Exactly. How many people do you know are smoking cigarettes going down the road, or vaping, that are causing accidents? None. So you got, how many people are drinking alcohol and getting drunk, are driving, hitting people, killing themselves? Quite a few.
So with that analogy, we're saying, what's the worst between alcohol and marijuana is obviously alcohol, because that will impair you and cause those kind of things. And our governments should look at repealing that law, turning around and saying we can use the revenue to put us in a better spot financially, nationally, as well as per state. And I'm all for that.
And if you want to make more money for the state, lower. Don't raise it, because we're losing tax dollars. We're losing tax dollars on the tobacco use. And if we lower it to 16 or at least 17 to smoke, and not because they want to lower voting to 16. What's the difference?
I was going to ask about that. If you see that, And that's because the Democrats are, hey, we need to lower it to 16 because they want more votes so they can, well, let's say some cheat the system or what have you. But if you really pay attention to some 16-year-olds, not all, because there are some bright 16-year-olds that are phenomenal, that are doing well and doing good for the communities. But you also see the 16-year-olds that are eating Tide Pods or catching themselves on fire or doing stunts or stupid stuff all over the internet. You see videos everywhere. Should they be allowed? Should they be voting? I say no. If you're mentally not capable to understand what the voting process does, I say no. So I like the voting age of 18. I mean, that at least gives you that you're an adult. But I have to agree that smoking at 21 is ridiculous. Whether you're a smoker or not, that is ridiculous. I think it will get repealed. I think it will be removed or changed. Oh yeah, mm-hmm. I think so. Which brings down to your local governments can do that. Even the federal government, unless the federal government puts that cap and says it's across the board, which is what it looks like it's trying to do.
Right.
If each state steps up. So that's why we need more people like us and others out here to run, non-career politicians to run and get in good positions to help build the party stronger, locally especially. And it's posted everywhere, all over Facebook, on this page, personal pages. January 18th is a meeting that Penny Bigelow and John Schmitz, which you know him very well too.
And Penny.
And they set up this meeting to get people involved to run for precinct chairman seats, mm-hmm. which we know that is important because that gets your voice heard for who you want to run for mayor, for positions in your party. You can help put them up if you're going to go slate, which I hope they eliminate the slate process. We desperately need people at that meeting more. We have some that want to join on. We have some Democrats that want to switch. And that's where Cindy Kirchhoffer, who is the head of the Marion County Republican chair right now, has to approve. And we're hoping she's going to be on board. She seems like she is. And we have, 600 seats, and we only have 150 of them filled for the Republican side. Democrats are doing pretty good. The Republicans aren't. So we want to get people out there to be involved. As John does with his show and his statement is do something indie. This is their chance to do something. What do you think about that?
I think that people need to educate themselves more so and just get involved. And not just say you're going to get involved or just, go and donate your time for this or that, but really truly get involved in the political process. Get out and run for precinct committeeman. And or even run for a political office. Anybody can run as long as you're 18 years of age and you're a citizen of this country, of this state, and you live where you're supposed to live on a local ticket, and you meet all the qualifications. You can run and you could possibly win. But and for people to say, "Well, I'm not voting because it doesn't matter." It does matter.
It does. Yes, it does.
Your one vote does count. But you have to make it count by voting mm-hmm. and getting others to encourage others to support what you support, and cause that chain effect, that rippling effect that will go and that will take us to the level where we need to be.
Encourage others to step up, our next generation to step up and do what's right.
Yeah.
And which you have run for different positions here and there.
I have.
And I know at one point you were talking governor and you're feeling things out. And but recently you're kind of thinking of where you want to go. And I know you're not ready to tell anybody what you're looking at, but you want to make that change. You want to make something happen for the city as well.
Right.
And I love that you put out there and that you want to do something. Now, just tweet us or the people that will be watching. What do you say to those that say, well, Bob, you said this and this, and you're not doing it, and they think you're crazy? What do you say about that?
Well, there's reasons behind why I say what I say.
I want people to know you. I want people to know what, a little bit about.
Yeah. Well, first thing, I want people to know, which I did not mention about a little bit about myself, and I forgot to mention that I won a congressional seat in 1998. Yep. I got the chance to my name became a household name when I beat the slates, but with no money, mm-hmm. just with you, the people, with you believing in me
and voting,
and voting,
yep,
and just getting out of your comfort zone and voting for me. And I mean, you know, I felt like Trump because I was, even though Trump wasn't even running then, I felt like I was a Trump before Trump came out because I was saying like it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm one person who doesn't hold back punches. I'm not one who says what you want to hear all the time.
No.
And I don't sugarcoat anything. And sometimes I sound a little crazy. But because I sound a little crazy doesn't mean I'm crazy. It just means that I'm completely pissed off at a situation.
I like that you say it like that because I've known you for a few years. Although there was a period there, life reasons, we didn't keep in touch a whole lot. But seeing you now and knowing what you did in '98 and knowing what you're wanting to try to do now, I like to see that you're at least exploring these options and you have stepped back a little bit and said because you had to go over some hurdles to be able to keep running for a position,
right?
And you beat those hurdles, so you're ready to go. But you decide not to go governor, so you're thinking about a couple different avenues.
Yeah, the only reason I ruled out governor is because it's going to take, unless we do something about it, to change the law about how you get on the ballot.
Yep.
Now, certain offices that you run for, you don't have to have these thousands of signatures to get on the ballot,
Yep.
which I think is ridiculous.
Yep.
What I think, what my plan is I'm going to run for a smaller office than governor. I'm going to run either state or county-wide right now. I have not yet decided. I can throw out some ideas of what I might be running for. What's out there for me to run for is a county seat. On the county seat would be auditor. It would be assessor. It would be
any of those
any of the smaller offices in the county. Statewide, state senator. And I've had a lot of people call me, hey senator, and I'm just wondering, hey, is that something from God telling me run for Senate? I don't know. And a lot of people are like, he's crazy, you know.
Well, what do you say that when you say they're crazy? I mean, honestly,
because I believe in God, so I'm crazy, you know. And some people don't like, don't involve God. Nobody wants to hear about God. So,
but if it's your cornerstone of your life, to
exactly,
do something,
and then state rep. But, and state representative here in the 98th district where I live, I never see that. I never see my state rep. The only time I ever see her is if I go to a Democratic function or something. I never see her.
We don't see them or hear from them typically.
No, I mean, I want somebody that I can actually engage with, have conversation with, won't be afraid to walk up to them, or, I want them to be approachable. I want somebody to, there's nobody out in this world better than you.
That's right.
But there's nobody better than you.
Good way to put it.
These people work for you.
You voted them in.
Yeah, they're supposed to work for you. And, and these people that we send to Congress, we send them to Congress to make $174,000 a year. And they get the best health care that money can buy. Okay? And I can run for those offices too, if I decide. But I'm wanting to take a stab at something local, stay in Indiana.
Well, what's funny is you say you're a little crazy. To run for these offices, you got to be a little crazy. I mean, John and I said that for quite a while during our campaigns. Him and I ran for Indianapolis mayor, and you got to be crazy to do this. But you also got to have the heart and the passion. What you want to see done for the city, locally. There's no small, quote, positions. Every little bit helps and counts. And you got to have the heart and passion. It's not about the money. It's not about, in a lot of positions, it doesn't pay hardly anything or anything at all. But it's about getting your voice out there. You don't have to be a career politician. You can, like I said, you check out the January 18th. You come out as PC chair is a good start because you can get your voice out and you can talk. And like you just said, that you can look at running for smaller positions that you can still get your voice and then get your foot in the door. We need more of that. We need more people that are non-career politicians that are willing to come in, help snowball the effect down the road, step aside and let new people coming in. The Constitution says, let the people run the government. And I think when our forefathers set this up from the beginning of our history, not time, but of our history, that they meant it to be limited time frames, set terms. They meant it to be the people take care of the country the way we need to take care of it. And I think that's what we got to get back to, both nationally and locally. And I think Trump, going back to that for a moment, Trump is part of that. I think he is trying to do that. We had Reagan was a good president with what he was doing, and Kennedy. And so, you have some presidents here that did good stuff that I think they are trying to bring that quality back to our national level, but we can do it on a local level too. And Indianapolis is a small city in the sea of everything, but it's a start. And in any city you live in, but if you do here, it's a good beginning. And I'm so tickled that we're doing a 4-part series on this, and we're going to dabble with the local next on episode 3. Bob will be on that too, and we may have another guest it looks like we can get in, because we're going to have that one. We can do a longer episode and maybe even live, where we can really do call-ins and people can start asking questions directly. What's our plans? What they can interject with their ideas. I think that'd be a good way to do episode 3. Maybe we do something live on that.
Because by January, I'll know what I'm going to be running for.
Okay, then we can put it out there.
Well, sometime in like maybe mid-January, I'll know what I'm going to be running for.
Oh, good. Okay, I'm looking forward to finding out what you want to run for. Now, me, I'm holding off. I don't want to run for anything this year. We have plans. Keep getting the show growing. I also want you to check out John's show at Do Something Indie, and he broke off to do separate shows so we could divide and conquer. Our goal here on these episodes and our shows, right here at Your Voice, Your Call, is to talk to you and get out there a message that the media won't or can't, and also your voice. You can contact us and talk to us and ask us questions. The information will be posted below, where you can get a hold of us on all the social medias, emails, and let us know what you think. And we'll have Bob on again, and also pay attention to the podcast coming up Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday, except for this Wednesday because it's New Year's Day. Well, even I need a break on that. But when you go out tonight for your New Year's party, be safe. Definitely want you to be safe so you can come back and see the shows.
Don't smoke and drive, though.
Smoke and drive? No, we don't want that. We don't want that. I like that, Bob. Nice. Thanks for tuning in, Bob. I appreciate you being on, and I hope to see you back on real soon, sir.
You too.